Now, mostly when this concept is presented, that's about it. There's not anything to do about it. But we want to pair that together with some material for Patrick Lencioni in his book on 5 dysfunctions of a team, because I think that's really going to be a concept and a direction for how to more productively move from the storming to the norming phases and stages. So in looking at the dysfunctions, over on page 16, here's a wonderful quote I'd just like to read. It's, instilling trust gives executives the confidence to have productive conflict. Now, you can translate that to team members. Instilling trust gives executives the confidence to have productive conflict. Each one builds upon the other. Fostering conflict gives executives confidence to create clarity. Clarity gives executives the confidence to hold people accountable. Accountability gives executives confidence in expected results. And results are an executive's ultimate measure of long-term success. You like the way that flows?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to be moving through talking about the dysfunctions are choosing, for instance, invulnerability over trust. Because I said so. I'm the one in charge. I'm always right. That kind of unwillingness to be open to different points of view, to be willing to reconsider your ideas, to be willing to say, I don't know. Part of the challenge. A dysfunction is choosing harmony over productive conflict. For instance, if we have a meeting and all we're doing is having reports be presented, which seems to be the norm in many organizations. The unstated rule is, don't call me on my stuff, I won't call you on yours. You know, which means we really can't have clarity or accountability for the results that we share the responsibility for. So at some level, for instance, if you have supervisors of various functions within a department who come together on a leadership team, yes, in some way they do represent their function, but when they come together on that team, they are now responsible for the whole department. That's what shared leadership means. Now again, that depends on how the chairman of the department, the director, the manager of the department, wants to be a leader. He may facilitate a type of team where discussions are not held in the team. You deal with him individually. And that will be less conducive to bringing out differences of opinion. If you move towards a more shared leadership model, where we share the leadership, we share the responsibility, we share the accountability, then when one person makes a report, other people are thinking about what's going on in that area. Are there challenges there that we need to address? What help can we give? How does what you're doing affect what we're doing? And you have conversations about that. Otherwise, you can just all read the reports online somewhere. What's the reason for the meeting, if that's all it is?
In order for people to commit to an action or direction, very often, some people want to make sure, have we got it right? You know, that 100%. Are we sure this is exactly the right thing to do? And so they're going for certainty. They can't commit until they're certain that it's going to work. But there's always going to be some degree of risk. And so what Lencioni is recommending is not pushing for certainty, but instead pushing for clarity. Let's make sure we're really clear about all the possibilities that are out there. Let's make sure we get everything on the table. Everybody's concerns, everybody's doubts and disagreements. This is what we've been referring to in some of the other programs as one of the principles of the 30 management principles of the United States Marines. Decide and then invite dissent. But in order to do that, people have to feel free that they can bring up all those objections and concerns and doubts and risks and discuss them openly and objectively. So when Lencioni refers to productive conflict, he calls it productive ideological conflict, not personal conflict. You know, I'm not attacking you. What I will attack is the idea that you're expressing because I've got other information or I've got another perspective. And we have to feel free to bring all of that out in order to get to clarity. If we don't have the trust, we can't have the productive conflict because people are going to hide stuff. If people are hiding stuff because they're afraid of how it's going to be responded to, then they're going to keep stuff behind here and not really put it out on the table, and they're just going to be thinking, well, you know, when we get there, I'll say I told you so. When I didn't really tell you so, but I just knew that you weren't going to hear it. One thing builds to the next. And when you have that kind of certainty, no, clarity, not certainty. When you have the clarity, then you can get people to commit. And when they're, buy in. And when their commitment is there, then the whole group is going to be holding one another accountable for the results. Then it's not the team leader's responsibility. It's everybody on the team because they've all committed to it. Because they've been heard, they've been understood. Even if it wasn't their first choice, they're fully involved in the process.
Sometimes we can be so focused on having the right answer in this model that we go for like the 90% solution as opposed to the 80% solution, the 99% solution. We want to be so certain that sometimes we lose focus of the goal and end up not being productive. That can be a challenge here too. The fourth dysfunction is popularity over accountability, where individual goals are more important than the group's goals, where what I'm wanting to accomplish in my career is more important than what we've jointly chosen to accomplish. We need to learn as managers and good team members to see that our success depends on the team's success. Otherwise, we can end up being at odds and can even sabotage the team's success in order to try to further our own success.
One of the challenges with this is sometimes a leader, they're uncomfortable with disagreement and conflict, and so they think the best way to lead is to get everybody together, you know? Yay team, we're working together. And that's the way I could get people to really buy in. And then if they feel that way about me as a leader, then I can hold them accountable and they will do what needs to be done. But that doesn't necessarily develop the respect that's necessary to keep people, because people start to learn that, oh, all I have to do is be nice, and gee, if I think something that isn't going to work, well, I better not say it, and if I don't say it, we're not going to be able to deal with it, and if we don't deal with it, well, I can't commit, don't hold me accountable, hey, it wasn't my fault.
And that can happen with the fifth dysfunction, where our focus again is on what I want to achieve in terms of my status rather than the effective results. I like what it says. Team members must be selfless and objective and reserve rewards and recognition for those who make real contributions to the achievement of group goals. They must resist the lure of giving benefits to those who demonstrate need just because they have a need. You know, so it's really about the team's goals being paramount, the team's results being what we're here to achieve. Now, in the next few pages, we go over each one of these. So just take a minute to look at each one, the benefit, the role of the team member, and see, you know, what are you agreeing with? What questions do you have about each one of these? Because we're going to go into that in more depth.